this is not the same Arsenal you used to know. This is a different Arsenal team entirely. Yes, they've been close to winning the league in the last couple of seasons, but trust me, this season is a different season for Arsenal. What a team Mikel Merinoho has in his disposal. Fantastic team, this Arsenal team this season. They know the problem going into the summer and they addressed that problem. They knew that they don't have enough quality in squad depth, and they went into the summer transfer window and they bought quality players, not just ordinary players, not just players who could actually fill positions, but players who are very good and who are quality in every position. And that is what Arsenal did in the summer transfer window. Look at how difficult this game is against Newcastle. Look at how hard it is for Arsenal against Newcastle. They even considered first. A whole 80 minutes Arsenal was trailing against Newcastle. Yes, Arsenal was denied the penalty in the early minutes of this game, but they still grind that result. This is what champions do. This is what team who wants to compete for the title do. Look at Liverpool last season. It was very difficult for them, but they always find a way to grind out result, no matter how difficult it is. And look at Liverpool as well this season again. They still do that. Forget the last game against Crystal Palace. Yes, Crystal Palace are always difficult for Liverpool, but look at the late minute goals they usually get. This is what champions do. They find a way to grind out results. You can mock Arsenal whichever way you like, but guess what? This team is a different team. The weekend where the likes of Manchester United lost their game, Liverpool lost their game, Chelsea lost their game, this is the kind of weekend that is perfect for Arsenal to pick up all 3 points. Because trust me, look at Arsenal from 7th position, they climbed up to the 2nd position, which is very, very important. They knew that 3 points was the most important thing to get today, and that is what they did. It was difficult in this match. It was hard for Arsenal to create anything for the first 80 minutes of this game. But look at the changes Mikel Merinoho did. He looked at his bench. He brought in the likes of Odegaard. Imagine Odegaard not even starting this game. Yes, he was injured with shoulder injury and all of that. But guess what? He still have quality in his bench. Eberechi Eze played majority of this game. But look at the changes he made. Look at the changes he made that changed the game for Arsenal. Arsenal got an 86-minute equalizer. They were still not enough, because at that moment, ordinarily, a team would just want to get that 1 point because they know how difficult the game was. But you could see the Arsenal team, they still find a way to grind out that result. They still went and they still kept pushing, to get that particular 3 point that was much more important to them. Right now, Arsenal are sitting 2nd on the table. This is what champions do. This is what team that really wants to compete do. They find a way to grind out the results. Kudos to Mikel Merinoho. Kudos to the Arsenal team for finding a way to get all 3 points away to Newcastle. Look at what Liverpool did when they went over to Newcastle. It was a late minute winner from Rio Hugoma who won the game for them. This is what Arsenal also did, because they are following the footsteps of champions. Yes, it is difficult. Arsenal has not won the Premier League in the longest period of time, but guess what? This team is a different team entirely. Yes, we want to talk about the penalty, in the first half for Victor Gyökeres. That is a different case entirely. You see that penalty? The English referees have been very, very inconsistent. The English referees and the VAR have been very inconsistent. Yes, that is why they don't rate them over in the continent. That is why it's a different case entirely for them in the continent, because these guys are so inconsistent with their decisions. To Arsenal fans, it's a penalty. To non-Arsenal fans, it's not a penalty. And I will explain to you. Look at the Chelsea's game last week against Manchester United. It's a different thing that you could see the contacts Sanchez made. It was a clear penalty, right? Now to this game, it was a penalty to me, because trust me, there was contact. Now I would understand the reason why the referee did not give that penalty, because of the tragical fall of Victor Gyökeres. How Victor Gyökeres fell when he wanted to force the hand of that referee. Trust me, because yes, there was a contact, but the way he fell, he felt like he wanted the referee to blow definitely that it's a penalty. I understand. But if you look at the ball very well, it touched the leg of the goalkeeper first before the contact was initiated, before the contact was made, and Victor Gyökeres fell. But trust me, if we want to talk about the consistency, because every club now, the first time for Premier League, every club has one thing or the other that these referees have actually gone down to them that is very wrong. Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, every team have that particular VAR call against them. So it is what it is in the Premier League. Today it might be for you, tomorrow it will be against you. To other teams, it's not a penalty. To Arsenal, it's a penalty. So you would always have this over and over again. Now, also in the game, you have and another handball to Newcastle, which was not blown by the referee. So it is what it is in the Premier League. There was also an handball, also another handball against Newcastle again in this same game. So when you come to VAR, let's forget about it. The English referees are never consistent, and that is why the English referees are not rated on the continent. But that being said, this game was a very, very tough game. Arsenal find it very, very difficult to create chances. Arsenal find it very difficult to penetrate this Newcastle side, because Newcastle are very physical, Newcastle are very fast, Newcastle are that team that you will hardly break down their defense. But kudos to Arsenal, kudos to Merino for getting the first goal, and the second goal, very, very important goal, for Arsenal, for Gabriel. Gabriel has scored 13 goals in the Premier League already. For a defender who has not spent up to 5 years in the Premier League, 13 headed goals, fantastic return for Arsenal. This is what champions do. You get goals from every department, in the pitch. From the defense, you get goals in the midfield, you get goals in the attack, you get goals from the bench. And also the coaches also contributes to the team winning with the positive changes they make into the pitch. So that is what champions do. That is what you can actually do to compete. That is what you do to compete for the Premier League. That is what you do to compete for trophies. To me, this is a different Arsenal team this season. This Arsenal team, to me, will go so far this season. They will compete. I don't know if they will win the Premier League, but they will compete a whole lot this season. With the players they've brought in, how they've been performing. Look at how Arsenal performed against Manchester City last week. They took the game to Manchester City. They pecked Manchester City back for the whole 90 minutes. Manchester City were defending for their lives, and they still find a way to grind out 1 point from that man, no matter how difficult that game is against this Guardiola side. And today they still showed again why they are considered title contenders again this season. Because trust me, you can be a title contender this season, and next season you are not a title contender, because of the way your team might fall, or injuries or something else might happen. But you could see Arsenal consistency over the years, how they've been trying, to also compete in every year in the Premier League in the last couple of seasons. So trust me, this team this season is a different team entirely, and kudos to Mikel Merinoho, because this guy knows how to make those changes. This guy is because trust me, against Liverpool, he made some silly, some silly changes, or the way he set up his team. He learned from his mistake, not like what Maresca is doing. He learned from his mistake. Against Manchester City, he also knew that he made some silly changes in that game, and the team, the players he brought into that game got him the point, which is Martinelli. Today again, he understands that, see, I've made some certain mistakes in the past, and today he did something different entirely in bringing those important players that could help Arsenal secure that all-important 3 points. To me, it is important to get these 3 points in this most difficult ground. The grounds are very difficult in the likes of Newcastle and other stadiums in the Premier League. So it is very, very important for him to grind out that all-important result. Kudos to Mikel Merinoho for doing the most important thing in this game, getting those players off the bench, encouraging them, letting them know what they need to do, and getting the result and the most important 3 points for Arsenal. It is never going to be an easy one going over to Newcastle to play against Newcastle. But kudos to Arsenal for doing what they're supposed to do, for grinding out that result, and kudos also to the defense, the midfield, the attack, every player who played in this Arsenal game. They did a fantastic job to me. Let me know what you think about this game. Let me know what you think about Mikel Arteta's changes. Let me know what you think. If that was a penalty, share your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell until I come your way again next time. I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.